What up, chickadees? Happy Sunday night. I just got in from work. It's around midnight, so I guess it's Monday morning. And we're here for our Oracle forecast for the week. This is where we get sort of our anchor message, our flavor for the whole week to come. And we use the Oracle of Oddities, editions 1, 2, and 3 to see what's coming up and what we can expect and how we can just start embodying all of these, transformational changes and realizations that we've been coming through and coming to, and just embodying the up level. My friend Tracy and I were talking today, and we were just talking about the to be magnetic work that we're doing. And I was talking about it some yesterday, but there's these things called DIs, deep imaginings, and they're kind of like this hypnotic meditation where you're like rewiring your neural pathways and like reliving through things. And she said something, we were talking about there's a certain number you're supposed to do per week. Like you need to do like the one in the challenge right now, about 4 times a week, or for that week to be very effective or more. So at least 4 times. And so we were both talking about how we hadn't done all 4 yet. And she said something like, yeah, I need to do that thing where like you do the work, but then you just like live. And it was the best. I was like, yes, integrating, like the thing where you like, okay, now I've learned all these things. Now what? And it's like, live, now do it, be it. And it's like, how do I do this with all the other people? Trigger, test. What's coming around the corner? I'm so comfortable with the uncertainty. Fresh start. Endings and beginnings. It's just like this as the world turns. It is always just like this daily soap opera playing out, isn't it? As the wheel of fortune turns, right? So let's find out a little bit about what we can expect to come this week. It's like our weather forecast. All right. Nothing really that crazy happened to me tonight. It was a fairly good night. I wasn't as crazy sweaty as usual. We've just been really busy with just like, I don't know. It's just been busy, but not too crazy. But tonight I didn't have any like sweat attacks or like do anything embarrassing, except I looked down. I had this like red shirt on that I hadn't worn to work yet. Oh, not this one. I changed into this t-shirt. But I had this red shirt on at work, and when I walked back to the pass, this is where we do all our server stuff next to where the food comes out. There's this big mirror, and I realized that like at some point, this is pretty early in the night, like some kind of like humongous pin explosion in heaven. So there was like all of these like giant splatters of black ink all over my shirt that I just had to go for the rest of the night, like with a stained shirt. I'm just like, this is me. So I guess that shirt will be retired. But otherwise, it was fairly chill, which was good. I thought it was going to rain, and I was really excited because I was fairly tired tonight. But I am still going to have to go out and water all my plants because it did not rain. At least not enough. But I'm growing some little zucchinis, and I've got some little cucumbers sprouting, and my herbs are really like filling out really nicely, and I've been eating the basil, the cilantro and stuff, and it's delicious. I have some dill that I want to make some kind of dill dish this week, something summery. I'm pretty excited. All right, you guys, I'm gonna focus. Heavenly hosts and spirits team who's watching over us, Holy Spirit, Heavenly Father, Son, Mother, Holy Ghost. Those are the same people. But, well, most of them. What do we need to know for the coming week that will help us embody our potential and start living as our up-leveled selves in this new cycle, so we can put our best foot forward and be in alignment with our truest, most authentic selves, and really start embodying that higher self that we can imagine and envision in ourselves so clearly. But sometimes it's just hard to be that person. But I think that we can start showing up as that person little by little, more and more easily. Less limiting beliefs holding us back, less old programming. You know, we're working through so many things, so many revelations coming up. All right. Weekly cards. Ooh. Ooh. I think that was us. Ooh. Let's do a fifth one. Usually don't do a fifth. Okay, cool. All right, very exciting. So, our first card was the sacral chakra, which is Svadhisthana. And this is, to me, the first thing I got was that this week is all about creativity. That second chakra is where all of our reproductive organs are. And so this is also the realm of water and also associated with the moon. So there's this association with the imagination here and creativity and that astral plane of dreaming and symbols and depths and subconscious. So we're tapping into the subconscious right now, and I think that it's really giving us a lot of creative fuel. You know, when we're doing this work, what we're really doing is spiritual alchemy. We're transmuting the old, and it's working itself out, and it's being created into something else. So what we want to do is channel all of those old emotions. You know, I figured out, like, when I guess around August, when my boyfriend and I had broken up and I took over this place by myself, and I was really scared about it. And because all my bills doubled, and I'd never lived by myself before. And, you know, it was just a big step. You know, I'd always had roommates, or, you know, I was living with a partner or whatever. So, you know, I was really nervous about it. And I was jogging one day, and it occurred to me, because I was thinking about spiritual alchemy and the transmutation and sacrifice. And I just was determined that whenever I felt fear, I would take all of that energy, all of that anxiety, all of that grating, like burning inside, and I would channel it into motivation and determination to put into my work ethic, to build the vessel, to create a life that was secure for myself, right? So, yeah, it's about, like, you know, if you have sadness, if you have frustration, if you've had all of these things that you know, we brought with us in our memories from in the past, and it's stored in our cells and our subconscious, it helps us get it out, and it helps us transmute it if we can use it in our creativity, in the works that we do, or if we can create something else with it, you know, like turning fear into motivation or inspiration, right? So yeah, so that, and then I'm getting like balance. We want to bring things into balance. This is where we hold and store our shame, the shame that was projected on us, or guilt. So we want to release those things and pay attention when things trigger us this week. Is this connected to shame? Does this incite a feeling of shame in me that was put there? And how was it put there? Who first made me feel this way or think this way, right? And what was the context around that? And what belief did I pick up in that moment, you know, of being galvanized and very impressionable? Because that's how things get implanted into your subconscious, because you are in a highly emotional state and you're overwhelmed, and your brain starts, you know, picking out things that it can categorize and organize everything and name it and deal with it that way. And so a lot of times, especially when we're very young, we have these like overwhelming, you know, experiences, and then we interpret it from the hermeneutic lens of a terrified child, or, you know, of a vulnerable child, or an upset, or, you know, or sad child, and we assume that means something about us. And so we develop a core belief, And then a secondary belief, it's like core belief, fill in the blank, therefore, da da da. Lately, I've been unpacking a lot of my stored, like my core limiting belief. I got to the bottom of it in the challenge that I'm doing, which would be magnetic. And I figured out that it all boiled down to, if I had to like pick one phrase, I think it was, I am inadequate. Because I am inadequate, therefore I'm not safe. I am inadequate, therefore I am not worthy of my needs within the family. I am inadequate, therefore it is not safe for me to have emotions or to express my emotions, because, you know, as a child, I believe that if I caused too much trouble, like our family already had enough crisis, right? So I felt like I wouldn't be wanted if I had any needs, you know, or made a ruckus or anything. So I was always trying to be perfectly well behaved and, you know, low maintenance. And so that was something that was implanted early in my life, that I just kept playing out. And I didn't even connect it, you know, until I started doing the work and following those clues over the last, you know, decade or whatever. But it's like, you never, like, there's always layers and layers, and you're like, oh, I've realized this a million times before, but somehow it just sets in, you know, a little bit deeper each time, and you unravel a layer, and you take another layer out, another layer out. So we're cleansing ourselves from that shame that we've been storing. And I think that we should also balance our appetites and our desires. You know, we don't want to be gluttonous, and we don't want to be too restrictive. We want to allow ourselves. We don't want to deprive, because that denotes some sort of shame or lack or some kind of like something off there. But we also don't want to... we don't want to deprive, but we don't want to gorge. We don't want to be gluttonous either. So we want to balance our desires and our appetites, regardless of what that's for, whether it be watching TV or shopping or eating or sex, whatever it is. Just be careful to maintain balance, and that will also fuel and support your creativity, right? Keep you very healthy. Our second card was worship. And whenever I have this card come up, it just reminds me to take extra care to connect and nurture my personal relationship with Creator, with Source, also with Jesus. That's who I like to work with directly most often. I'll work with my angels and things, but for the most part, I only pray or worship to Jesus. I will, or God. I will incorporate my angels as helpers and as like teammates and stuff that have like special powers that I haven't developed yet, kind of thing. But I worship and I pray to the Creator and to Jesus. And sometimes I do actually work with Mary Magdalene or Mary, Jesus's mother. But yeah, so I think that whenever this card comes up, I like to think of it as praying, touching base. I've been trying to make a conscious effort to speak out loud lately and bless my life and bless all the aspects of my life and pray for things and pray for others in my life out loud and pray for outcomes that I want out loud and just set the tone. Like before I go to work, I bless my shift. I bless the restaurant. When I'm, you know, detailing my section, I bless each table. I bless the food that's going to come out, all the people that will eat it, all the people that have prepared and served it. You know, so I think that, and I try to use my words and say it out loud at the table, because our mouth and our voice is very powerful, and it has manifesting power, right? When in the Bible, the first powerful event that happened was sound. It was the voice of God, right? So we follow in the footsteps because we are made in the image of the Creator. And so we want to have affinity with the Creator so that we can resonate and be one with the Creator, right? And be in unity. So we're focusing on that. So I like to think of it as fun and developing friendship and, you know, a caring relationship with something so magical and wondrous and awe-striking so much of the time that I wouldn't have it any other way. So I get so sad when people are so religious and fearful and driven by their fear and their guilt and their shame. And I'm like, you're missing the party here. Like, we are all having a good time, like, in my world over here. So I actually like praying. Also, like speaking gratitude and talking about how grateful you are for, you know, just anything and everything. And, you know, thanking God for the blessings in your life and source, and thinking, being grateful for the certainty that you know that everything is playing out in your favor and that everything can be turned to your favor, even if the circumstances seem bleak. Something is working out for you. Either there's the energy being corrected in the situation. There's so many things it could be, parts and pieces moving behind the scenes. You never know how things are working out, but I always know that things are working out and that they will work out and that I will be taken care of. And the more certainty I can have in that, and the more that I can declare it out loud, then I feel like the more harmony that I experience just in life, like things just go smoother, there's more ease. So have fun, get in a state of joy, and declare all the wonderful things around you and notice them and appreciate them, and just connect with like a power greater than yourself. Even if you're not quite believer yet, like you're not quite a believer, or you're just like, maybe I'll just toy around with it. Just have fun with it, right? Just think of it as having, if you need to, think of it as talking to yourself, or think of it as having an imaginary friend, or just like sometimes I just give myself permission to be like, okay, well, so I'm crazy then, whatever, like lean in, embrace, you know? So worship. And then I think that the more that we do that, we're really being doulaed through a rebirth, quite honestly. And I really feel this happening. I really feel so many big shifts and changes in the way I feel about generally the experiences that I'm having. I'm not feeling as reactive as I used to. The people that would make me feel a certain way or trigger me in a certain way, those people aren't bothering me anymore. They're not even really on my radar, you know? And so I feel like this rebirth is really taking place. And I think it's just awesome to be in awe of the process, enjoy it, be present with it, and be there to like watch yourself become this new person. Take it slow and appreciate each opportunity that you are conscious enough to be aware and present with the moment, and choose as this new you, and watch yourself walk away from the old. And it's just crazy. It's wild. It's just so wild. I put the pumpkin that I had a harvested pumpkin that lived for a year and 9 months in my living room because I suggested to it that it was thriving, and it was this experiment with like the Dr. Emoto water experiments. I have like videos about it. You can go watch it. But basically I just enchanted this pumpkin using the science that I learned from Dr. Emoto's water experiment, and kind of just suggested that the pumpkin was like my own vibrational thermometer, and it would like, you know, show me how I was doing. And I mean, this pumpkin was thriving for like a year and 9 months, and it actually went from peach back to a like pre-ripened green. I thought it was gonna sprout vines again. It was insane. But it finally turned like within like a week ago or something. And during that week, I was releasing processing like all kinds of emotion, just releasing all of this stuff through, like I could feel myself sweating out when I was working out and like in my sleep, and I was trying to take a bunch of salt baths to just move that. I just feel like it's really good to cleanse yourself physically as you're releasing emotion, because it stores itself in your body. So all of that was coming out, and I'm just feeling so different. And I've been trying to do little decluttering and cleaning projects around the house, and the house is feeling different. And everything's feeling different. So I'm feeling really good about this rebirth. So just keep declaring all of the wonderful things that are happening. Use your imagination and creativity to visualize all of this stuff happening, and to make, you know, to get your strategy in order and take steps toward creating these things and manifesting these things, not just on an energetic level, but in the physical realm too, right? It just helps to get the energetic level has to be there first, Because even if you get your manifestation, but your interior isn't in alignment with it, you won't be able to keep it. It'll just go away. It'll just it'll disappear. So you have to be in alignment. Which I just had an insight about something for myself. It was like a eureka moment. Real time breakthroughs, people. Our next card was duality. And I think that's perfect because right now we are witnessing being in between our upcoming self and our just the self that we are leaving behind. We're seeing the dualistic nature of ourself, and we're embracing that. We're embracing the shadow as well as the divine parts. And we know that the fact that we have the challenges that we do, and that we have these dark sides to overcome is what makes us divine, because the fact that we can overcome those challenges and choose to be better even in spite of it all, that's what makes human beings higher than the angels, because the angels are pretty much energy personalities that are very specific to their assignment, and they don't have an ego and dreams of their own and insecurities. They're very straightforward. I keep finding more and more ink all over me. I don't know where it keeps coming from. So the fact that we can transcend these parts of ourselves is absolutely divine. And the fact that we're human, it is divine, even though that we're so imperfect and so flawed and having such a hard time. It's the fact that we have that challenge and we have to sacrifice ourselves. That's what transcends us and evolves our soul. So yeah, there's a lot of duality in this moment. It's we're learning to be this new version. We're learning to create this new life, but in a way it still feels like the old one. We're just not there quite yet, right? Yeah, I think that the past is just falling away, and that we're watching our future bloom in the summertime here in real time. I feel like there is something else missing. I feel also with duality, we're integrating our divine masculine and divine feminine energies. So we are learning how, and we're all always learning how to balance these and bring these energies into balance between us. That's the path of self-mastery. That's one of the main, parts of it. But I think it's about balancing that ability to be in stillness as the divine feminine and receive intuition, to value rest and leisure, to feel kind and caring and nurtured enough and replenished to be able to be a kind and caring person, taking care of yourself so that you can set yourself up to be, this generous and compassionate and patient person. It's hard to do that when you are ragged and you haven't been self-nurturing or self-caring or taking care of your own needs, So this is the duality of balancing that masculine and feminine energy, but also knowing when to take that action and when to be driven and when to have that willpower to be persistent and determined and have stamina, and to have that masculine self-worth that you just deserve to be here, and you don't need to be overqualified and bend over backwards to please people. Men aren't really like that, in case you haven't noticed, but women totally are. So yeah, integrating that, integrating all of those seeming opposing energies, we're bringing them all in and we're incorporating them and bringing them into balance and temperance. And then listen. So in the midst of all of this rebirth, and declaring our gratitude and our worship, being in this rebirthing moment, witnessing the duality of being, 1 foot in who we were and 1 foot in the future, I think that we're going to get a lot of guidance, but I think it's going to be those things where it's going to be like this like little silent whisper that'll catch us like out of nowhere. And we're like, oh, but if you're not allowing your mind to be quiet, then you may not catch it if you're too distracted. So allow your interior to be still. Allow yourself time to be still this week. Allow yourself time to go out and take a walk or whatever, and let your mind just wander and dream. That's usually when I get my best ideas and insights and clearest guidance, is when, not when I'm sitting down and like trying to like meditate, or if I'm like sitting down in like in a brainstorm sesh, it's usually when I just let myself be free and I go run, and then I go like do a long walk through the woods. That's what I love about movement meditations. For me, it's like if I'm sitting in stillness, I kind of like to find that self-emptying space. But if I'm walking or running, that's when I like those, because that allows my mind time to just dream and visualize and imagine whatever it wants to. And that's usually when I do a lot of my visualization for manifestation, and visualize, the life that I'm creating and all of that. So, but that's usually when I get a lot of the intuitive hits, because my mind is available to wander without me trying to like steer it in any direction. It's just free to play, right? I'm tired. I think we have completed our message for the week. Creativity, balance that sacral chakra. Rebirth, very exciting. Oh wait, worship was next. Worship, say your prayers out loud, and declare your gratitude. Talk out loud to the Creator, and enlist Jesus as your cohort and friend and helper, someone to just bounce ideas off of. But you can ask for guidance, you can ask for strength, you can ask for certainty, you can ask for anything you want. You can tell God and Jesus and whoever all about your frustrations and anger and how much you can't stand your whoever. You can unload all of these things and unburden yourself, and that's what you're supposed to do. So do that, and then you'll feel reborn, but you're literally we're being reborn, and we're feeling it. We're feeling a little bit of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like, are we there yet? And we're getting closer. And you're going to get some messages this week. You're going to get some insights, right? And you might even hear something. Maybe you'll hear from someone and hear some news. Maybe. It's all about listening. Be a good listener. Oh, listen. If somebody needs to talk to you this week, listen. In fact, err on the side of being a listener this week and not worrying about filling the space with your words, and really listen. Like, listen to what people are saying between the lines. Listen to what they're really saying, not just what you hear them saying, right? Listen with your heart, all right? Listen with your heart. It's not really the words, but it fit. All right, you ones. Hope y'all have a good day tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow night. I'm off work. I have my nephew's birthday party, but we won't be out late partying or anything. It's going to be like pizza and presents and good old fashioned, clean, wholesome fun. So I'll be able to film this earlier than usual. You guys can watch it tomorrow. All right. Hope you have a good one. See ya. Bye.